Hey guys. So I'm doing a live with my brother Q, and we're gonna talk about the mucus diet healing system. We're gonna talk about the transition, and yeah. So I've been into this mucusless diet healing system transition for 10 months. I think 10. And how I got into it was I tried Dr. Sebi. Hey. Send in a request, Q. Dr. Sebi, Robert Morse, and finally Arnold Ehret. And it won me over still. Uh, so, okay.
Yo, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much.
What
Ziggy's
what
in
are
the
those?
background.
I see adding that harmonious sound.
Yes. With our harmony, our voice.
Yeah. What's
He's
the
the bass
instrument?
to our treble. Sorry?
You say he's what?
I said he's the bass to our treble.
Mm.
What were
What
you saying?
instrument is that? I was asking what
Oh,
instrument that was.
oh, okay. It's a tongue drum. So.
Oh, okay. What's good, Ziggy?
Not much, man. Chilling, chilling. Got that mucus.
Free.
Breathe.
Yo.
Live.
Life. Mucus. Yo, that's our jam for real, bro.
What was that?
That's our jam for real, bro. Every day I wake up, I'm like, mucus. Breathe.
Yo.
But
I'm
yeah, this is
I'm
the interview
glad.
though, so lady do your thing.
Thanks so
Nah,
much.
I'm glad I'm glad you could
Uh-oh.
use it to what it was intended for, you know?
hmm Yeah, it's our jam still. Oh yeah, and it's Monday too, so it's a mucusless Monday.
But you practice that?
I do. We do. Yeah. He definitely does it for longer. For me, I'm like, I'm gonna lean a little.
What do you mean for longer? Like you talking about in a span of days or in the same day?
I think he's done it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, mucus free?
Yeah. Yeah. But the longest I've done it is 3 days.
Yeah, that's
um,
that's something.
That's
People out
definitely
here never been mucusless, you know?
hmm
raw vegan or not.
Yeah, all the whole spectrum.
exactly. Yeah,
So
fruitarian, all that.
yeah. But you able to also see the difference. And I think that's a big key. Even if it's a few days, you know, I'm doing this right now. Like I'm practicing this right now.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like after the first day, it was easier to, like, the momentum was easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you feeling good, like sustaining,
hmm
it definitely changes the game.
And it definitely helps with an enema too, because I remember the first time that I did the mucusless Monday without sweet potatoes, because
Uh-huh.
um, we thought that sweet potatoes was relatively um, mucusless, so we thought that we can put that in our mucusless Mondays, which is good for the transition.
Yeah.
But um, Yeah. So when we found that out, I was like, oh my God. Like looking at the fridge, I'm like, what am I gonna eat? Like, I'm
Yeah,
hungry. Not that I was hungry because I ate, but
yeah,
I was hungry for something, like to create something, you know? And
yeah,
it's so
yeah.
simple, and it's too simple for my mind to grasp, you know? Like,
Yeah.
mhm.
So what'd you do?
So I just stared at the fridge a lot. I looked at the cupboard. I'm like, I was like, okay, so we have this, and we have that, and we have this. And then I'll close the fridge and then open it again.
Okay.
But we ended up just, I think for me, it's really the salads part, you know, because I can eat fruits all day, you know,
Yeah.
but when I'm detoxing and I feel myself detoxing, that's when you put the breaks with the salad, you know, but I'm so
Yeah.
used to having it with a dressing like olive oil and lemon,
Yeah.
um, even though I could just have it with lemon and don't have to put it with olive oil, but my mind
Uh-huh.
was so fixated on that. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm just gonna have greens, you know?
Yeah.
But definitely zoodles. I did a cucumber pasta. That was really good. And it's the spices too, like with basil, oregano, like with the tomato paste part, you know? So the
That
savory,
that helps you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Rather than just bland, you know? Like I want spices. Like that's what makes the experience full
Yeah.
is the taste, the texture, and
Yeah.
all of that.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Even like zoodles with like, say like one of them was cut spaghetti style and then the other's like fettuccine, and then like another cut is just sliced or diced. So then it's like so many different textures but the same item
Hmm.
in one meal. Like I personally try to do things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Like cuz I
I'll
like
do.
textures. That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a texture person. Hey, hey, hey. So I'm
Yup.
just gonna pin what we're talking about.
In the comment section.
Yes.
Okay. Art by Ancient in the house.
Yes. This is a pretty long. um.
Uh
um, uh, okay, pin comment. Great, 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 great.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So when you got into Mucusless diet healing system,
Yeah.
how long did it get you to do an enema?
Mm, it was relatively soon. Like I say at least within the first month. Yeah.
Okay.
Where so I come from qigong and massage therapy. So my view was already like I've done colonics before, you know? Like
Okay.
before I got into the enema practice, I was introduced to like hydrotherapy and did do colonics. Not regularly, but just I was exposed to it, so it wasn't really a huge barrier for me.
Hmm.
That I see a lot of people, the enema is like people scared.
Yeah, I get it. I get
Oh
it.
yeah, I understand too. I understand. I'm playing around, but like yeah, it's like
Mhm.
it is a step. I think once you, and I like that you asked that because it feels like I feel like you're aware of that being a step towards getting into the system really, like
Mhm.
not that getting into the diet isn't a part of the system. Like, that's the point. But as far as a systematic use of all the tools, including the sun as a tool to dissolve waste, and what does that activate the sweat to release toxins, and then the air bath to invigorate the skin, like, and then the diet piece, all the food as tools, utilizing them for what we need depending on our symptoms, and then that internal bath, like, that's just a part of the system. Like, it just, yeah, and the herbs too. So yeah, I like that you asked that.
Yeah, it's definitely elemental. It gets you in tune with the elements.
Mm.
Mhm.
What's that specifically? You talking about the system or the enemas?
Um, all of it.
Yeah,
The system. Yeah,
yeah,
the Mucusless diet healing system.
straight up.
hmm it's holistic. It gets you in, like, in touch with everything, you know? And how did you feel in the beginning as a male doing an enema compared to a colonic? You know, because it's so commercialized, hydrotherapy.
Yeah.
hmm
Mm. So yeah, like, I'm weird. Like, I feel like I'm just weird. So, like, I was just like, oh, this is how you do it, and I just did it. Like, just like, oh, all right, this is the tube thing, and like the adapter piece, and I think, like, I didn't have it down like I do now. Like, I like that it does take practice. So
hmm
in the beginning, it didn't have the same effect. Like, it was just like I did it. It was like, yeah, getting familiar with something. Like, okay, let me flush out. But then once I got a little bit of mucus out, like the first time I got just a little touch of it, that was where I was like, oh, this system is all right. Like, there's some mucus up in my body that I have to work on getting out,
hmm
like that excess.
Yeah. In the beginning for me, I saw a little bit of mucus, like, you know, when you blow your nose and, like, you just
Yeah,
see that white clear mucus. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I saw at first. I'm like, whoa, mucus is actually coming out of me and it looks like snot. I'm like,
yeah,
yo, like, I believe in this thing. And the
yeah.
deeper I got,
I feel you. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
And the deeper I got, the more I saw. You know, like, my eyes were open, and I'm sure there's more to see, you know, like, I
Mm-hmm.
see I see yours, I'm like, whoa.
Yo, I
Yeah.
sometimes I be like, yo, should I just like keep this to myself? Cause like this is nasty. This is just so.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, this is my life. Like, this is literally, like, some people, they're maybe they skateboard, right? And then they like show clips of them skating and like fixing their deck and getting new trucks and things like that. I'm just like, a part of my lifestyle, I'm doing enemas, and then I'm like literally seeing this waste come out, and I'm gonna show somebody like, yo, this is what happens. Like, this is a part of the practice. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about mucus and pus, because people, they don't see it, they don't know, they don't
Mhm.
practice, so then they may not get to those levels of understanding j- through observation. So I'm providing that perspective of someone who is practicing and showing, hey, like, this kind of stuff is stored up in there.
Yeah, I feel like seeing it to believe it, you know,
Yeah,
compared to, like, people just being like, oh yeah, read the book, and all that.
Exactly.
Um,
Or other. Oh, where you going?
oh, yeah, go.
Well, other like sort of like diet experts or like people marketing different products. People talk about mucus. Like removes phlegm and mucus from the body and does this to your whatever your skin like. But then, let me see. What do you? Let me see what you're talking about, so I can understand. Not like having this sort of argument based on just what we've been told, like just what we're told constantly. Like you open this book and they're like, yeah, this is how the body works. But then you get into the mucusless diet healing system, and this guy has a completely different theory and philosophy about how the body works, extensively discusses his observations and why he suggests these certain points. And I'm speaking about Professor Arnold Ehret. And then it's up to you to see if that works. And then once you engage with the practice just a little bit, even I've heard about people where, say, they're on a standard American diet, or as Professor Spirit said, a standard anywhere diet, because we've all just we switched to Pop-Tarts and all this kind of stuff. But yes, Professor Arnold Ehret, Natasha.
Okay.
So
I'll write that.
okay, you'll write it. So
Yeah.
like utilizing, like my friend, his nephew was more into eating pizzas and macaroni and just everything, and just incorporating the veggie meal into his flow. When his nephew would visit him, boom, he added in a veggie meal, and the veggie meal is kind of like, it consists of like raw vegetation plus some cooked vegetation, and like just so I'll show you. You caught me like I was trying to do my veggie meal now, but like
Oh.
yeah. So like incorporating the like raw veggies, and then this is like some pumpkin and kale that I wanted to play with. Yeah.
Pumpkin.
Yep. So I put a little lemon juice on there. But like once he yeah, once he ate the veggie meals, he noticed when he went to the bathroom, it was freaking easy to release what was up in there. Whereas before he was like straining, So that's just one example, like that's not even like, that could, for some people that could seem very minuscule, but that can change someone's life. You changing their experience when they're going to the toilet,
Yes. I feel you.
That's every day, yo. That's life. You
And
walking out of the bathroom just like mad if you can't let it out.
and like I gotta say, even if you do get out a little bit, you're like, man, like I know there's more in me.
Yo, straight up. Straight. It's a trip. It's a trip. Like even based on what you're saying, I remember, or it's like every time, like I'll get into like a 24-hour fast or 48-hour fast or whatever, just doing the short fast, and waste is still popping out. Like just, I'm like, I didn't even eat, but stuff is coming out still. And that's nasty. I just think of like, imagine when you're eating, how much is in there, like just backed up. Yeah.
For real. Yeah, like our intestines our large intestines are like 32 feet
Mm-hmm.
and small intestines like 29 feet
Yeah.
or something, and our colon like I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's long, you know. This is rooms full, you know, of
Yeah.
fecal
Yeah.
matter backed up in our
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Yes. Arnold Era is a god, you know. Nothing's dead but transformed, you know.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Um,
We
but
got his
yeah, we
spirit.
have
Yeah.
our whole system backed up, you know, and where does it go when now that's backed up? It's like a garbage truck, you know, like it's all full, so it piles up, you know, and then it
Yeah.
falls onto the ground, and then everyone's like, oh, there's litter everywhere, you know? But
Yeah.
instead, that goes into our other organs, you know, our
Yeah.
blood system, you know, and
Yeah.
now we have white blood cells. I love that part, you know, in
Yeah.
the I'm like
She's so
genius.
controversial. Yeah.
uh, you know, it goes into our blood system, it goes into our brain, it goes into our eyes, you know, it goes everywhere. And
Yeah.
then we go to the
Systemic.
doctors and they're like, oh, you have bronchitis, you know, you have asthma, you have all these things, but it's
Yeah.
all linked to the same thing. And that's
Yeah.
backed up fecal matter and uneliminated waste and mucus and pus, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Obstruction.
So that's pretty good to know, you know, that we all have this healing, no matter if you look healthy, you know.
Yeah.
We all have this based off of what we're eating, you
Yeah.
know.
And what even
Sorry.
not even what's that?
Oh, sorry about that. I missed that. What'd you say?
It's okay. I was saying it's like based off of what we had been eating.
Yes.
And like that's humbling. For me, that's what makes it humbling because yeah, like I'm into health and I transitioned into vegetarianism, veganism, and then when I found the system, looking back, it's like, okay, even in those phases, I was still like eating a little crap, but like still mindful, looking at labels and still doing my thing in that way. But then I'm just imagining from my childhood eating freaking string cheese and like Chinese food and like pizza, McDonald's over years, top ramen,
Oh.
different burrito, like, you know, Kool-Aid. And like, so then it was just like, dang, like my
Yeah.
body's freaking gross, yo. And I could
Hmm.
tell if I get into a certain, like a short fasting period, you could just tell how obstructed you are once that vitality is dropped. It's just like, dang, I'm obstructed, yo.
For real. Yes.
As
E
you were
equals P
talking, like
minus O.
V equals P minus O. Word. Exactly. You were saying
Yes.
seemingly healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even my mom, for instance, she is a personal fitness trainer.
Uh-huh.
Like she's also vegan as well, and you know, she thought she was healthy.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I got this. I'm teaching people all that," you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, in her Caribbean accent, you know.
What was that?
In her Caribbean accent, she's like,
Yeah.
"Sham, I'm good. I'm healthy," you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can always be doing more, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is into the mucusless diet healing system, and she was actually on it. She just didn't know what it was, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like she'd just be eating lettuce, you know, just at the dinner table, just, you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, where's your bread?
Yeah.
You know, so she already had that. So I was just getting her into the enema part, you know?
Huh?
And she's like, Sham, I'm clean, I'm clean. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's like, do you know how long I've been taking care of my health? I'm clean. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, just do it. So I bought her a bag. I bought her an enema bag. I'm like,
Yeah.
because putting that power in her hands, you know, like, okay, go buy an enema bag. You know, like it took
Yeah.
way too long. It took way too long. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, I gotta do this myself then.
Yeah.
So, I bought her it, and she did it the same day. And
Mm.
she took out mucus the same day. For me, I just took out poo. Like, I mean, like the mucus you take out, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, like that's crazy.
Word.
And
She was ready.
yeah,
Her body was ready. Yeah.
her body was ready, you know, to give birth to a new version of her, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and now, like that, you can't tell her not to do that. If you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, you know, like maybe you should slow down. Yeah, and
Yeah.
she started doing like two two enemas in a day, you know?
Yeah.
And she was already like water fasting and food fasting, and I was like, okay, implement an enema bag, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's like, my body is calling me towards this, you know? And I'm just like, get your enema bag. So now she's good, she's set. Anyone threatens her about her enema bag, it's over for them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it, and she does it every day. Like she'll send me pictures and she'll be like, "Oh, you would not. Oh my God." Yeah, she's like, "You will not believe it." And she doesn't believe it either. She's like, "I thought I was clean. I thought I was healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been fasting, I've been vegan, I've been eating healthy, I've been
Yeah.
exercising, you know,
Yeah.
because she also loves her exercises."
Mm.
So I was
What
just
kind does
like,
she do?
she does all types, like dumbbells, like she does all
Okay.
types. You know,
She
I
goes in.
apparently I'm not in her league. I'm not in her league.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I just, you know, do my little breath work, yoga. She likes the extreme stuff, you know? Like she
Yeah.
wants to sweat, detox like real fast, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. But it's really amazing to like see that change, you know, like in yourself.
Mm. What
And
change are you referring to?
um like through enemas, you know, like for me it was definitely obviously taking shit out. But
Yeah.
I feel like the obstruction's so bad, like as in when I'm stuck, for instance, when like all the mucus is piling up and ready to like go all at the same time. You
Yeah.
know, I think about all the emotions that I've held on to. You know,
Mm.
like things like from when I was a little girl, you know, I was like, oh, I hated my mom for this. You know, like, fuck her, fuck
Yeah.
that. You know,
Yeah.
like I like realized that I was still holding on to these things, you know, and
Yeah.
it
Yup.
was really good to like get that shit out of me.
Straight up.
You
Yeah.
know?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what about you? Like what kind of things did you notice like that like presented itself while cleaning yourself? Internal showers.
I might have mentioned it, but the humility,
Mm.
just
Yes.
where because of the enemas, there's not a way to be prideful, so to speak, of of health in that way. Like I'm not saying like I'll walk around like self-deprecating or anything like that. I definitely do have a joy in what I've been able to do physically with my body, and also the practice of breathing and getting into those kind of movements. But it ends up, for me, it ended up just being this sort of just like I'm in the corner just working on myself, like just, all right, let me get the enema bag, let me just like work on the diet. And yeah, over time it's been becoming more personal. It's just more like a just spiritual. It's my own, I deal with my own medicine, my own prescriptions. So as you were talking about with the man, I lost my train, but it was about so when I'm saying prescriptions, I'm saying like we're our own
Healers.
physicians.
Yes.
Yeah, healers, physicians, and depending on what the symptom is, and I brought that up a little earlier, depending on what the symptom is, we have the tools to work on helping out, to relieving those symptoms. And it's like that enema, just through the continual practice of using it, I got to understand more what it is and what it does. And that came over time to see like, oh man, like my body's physically going through this. And it's like I have obstruction. Say like there was a period where I had obstruction somewhere around my solar plexus, right? Like just somewhere around my solar plexus internally, where when I would eat, it was acidic. Like how Professor Arnold Everett brought up in his book, he said for an acid or bad stomach, like he said, an acid, bad, or mucus stomach, you would do these kind of protocols. What's going on? What's going on? Yo, I'm trying to remember. I know it's Zonra.
Zonwa.
What is it?
Zonwa.
Zonwa.
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, I was like, what? I know.
He's just me mugging, like, yo, what you guys talking about?
What you talking about? Oh, y'all just finding out?
Right? He's like, yeah. I've been mucusless. What?
So I was going through that, and I'm trying to eat veggies to sort of neutralize the acid. So I'm like eating a cucumber, but then it's like it seemed like it was liquefying, and then it was becoming worse. Like not like it would aid a little bit because it was veggie. It was less aggressive than like the fruit. The fruit was like, that wasn't the choice for me, because the fruit was starting to like pull out more waste through the fruit acids, through the fruit sugar. So that's where I was like, all right, let me go more on the veggie end. And then that wasn't like, that was still a little obstructing. So I was like, okay, let me not eat right now, and then let me try the veggie broth. So then I still utilizing the veggies, being less aggressive, and then also using that sort of like heat up the inside, and while still consuming the mineral salts from the veggies. And then that aided a little bit. Like that was helpful because I was able to still consume something that was building, and then was hitting up them enemas. Like that was where I was able to diagnose that I had obstruction because I saw how I would eat this, what would happen, what would come back up, and that helped me realize, all right, the obstruction's right there, and I could feel it too. So I was like, oh, the obstruction's right there, and then I just like was doing the distilled water enemas too, because I was just trying to move the obstruction, just try to irrigate. So I utilized it for that, and yo, I did like, no lie, I did like 8 enemas, yo. Like,
No, what?
just, yeah. But like after, and that was just in the day. Like in that day, I was able to I did 8, and that helped. Like I was able to kick, like what came out was some obstruction, you know? Like it was some
Exactly.
obstruction. Yeah. It was crazy. But that just was informing me more. And then I referred to the Mucusless diet healing system, and on one of the cases, he spoke about doing high enemas. So it just made sense for me, and that's where I was like, okay, I see what I'm dealing with now as far as that tool. Yeah.
There's a question here. How often do you do enemas? Does it feel like it messes with your microbiome balance?
Yeah, how would you? Yeah, I feel like the foods that I eat, I'm able to digest them, and they're able to move through as well, like naturally. So I don't see like an issue with how they're processing, if that makes sense. Like regarding a microbiome balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then how often I do enemas, it depends, but it's fairly regular. Like I was thinking about this yesterday, where I typically do them. Like I would typically do it daily, like just like naturally. But if I had something in the morning, maybe I'll drink a juice instead, or if I ate late in the evening time, then I wouldn't do an enema, because I typically don't do enemas if I'm full, or like if I just ate or that kind of thing. So like I'll eat, and then the next morning after a natural bowel movement, then I'll do the enema. Like I'll just keep everything moving.
Yeah, you're
But
in the right spot.
okay.
Ask all those questions.
What was that?
She has so many questions, so I said ask away.
Oh yeah, and then coffee, that's not the vibe. Like that's not what we talking about.
No.
Where coffee, Brother Air. If you look up Brother Air, Professor Spira, you can learn some more on YouTube. Professor Spira, Brother Air, but Brother Air calls that bean soup. That coffee,
That bean
and
soup.
bean soup, and it's very stimulating. Like you can
Hmm.
see it, how people drinking it and what it does to them. Picture putting it inside the bottom end where it's not filtering through your digestive process. So that's just, that is, and then it's also dehydrating.
Hmm.
So it becomes more counterproductive, I would say. But just a lot of mucusless diet healing system practitioners, they would not recommend doing coffee enemas. But Professor Arnold Ehret, he recommends doing distilled water enemas. And then there was an innovation through different practitioners over the years. I believe maybe around the 80s, 90s period, where they started to incorporate adding lemon into the enema. And we're noticing, because inspired by the book, by the Mucusless Diet Healing System, lemon the acid of lemons, when you look into the fasting drinks section, the acid of lemons neutralize the stickiness of the mucus. So I think, like, if you think about that, it's like, okay, it neutralizes the stickiness. And then they incorporated that in the enemas, and that's what they do. So, yeah, Professor Arnold Everett, in the book, he's talking about distilled water, enemas, and certain practitioners, they end up incorporating the lemons to make the cleaning more aggressive. And that also carries a sort of personal, what is that? Like personal modification. Like if, like say I can do multiple lemons, but somebody may only be able to do half a lemon,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But then they could also build up to more lemons, just depending on how they squeeze it in. And if it's too aggressive, that's where like you could dial back on the lemons. You could, or put more water, or don't use a lemon. Like that's not a mandatory thing. But yeah, though, just to answer, yeah, those coffee enemas, yeah, that was not. I see
Yeah.
it was okay at first, yeah, but that's not. Some people do them. Yeah, I'm not even.
Coffee makes my
That's the
heart sweat.
your heart sweat.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm like, I'm already sweating from like the stimulation of coffee, I
Mm.
would have black coffee,
Mm.
so I'd be sweating, my heart's sweating, my organs are sweating, like
Yeah.
I'm I'm sweating.
Yeah.
hmm So that's how we feel about coffee enemas. Any more questions about enemas or the transition into mucusless diet healing system?
Because yeah,
But
even
yeah,
well,
after an
what's up?
enema, sorry?
Yeah. Nah, what are you saying?
Okay, so after an enema, with the system, I've definitely incorporated salads after to brush out any remaining like filth. It's like a
Mm.
snow globe, like shaking.
Yeah.
That's what the enema does, and then you
Yeah.
want to brush it out.
Mm.
So salads are a good broom. Sometimes when I'm not feeling a salad, I have green juice. I just pretty much, ooh, I want to say drink a juice until I have a bowel movement, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
you
I'm
remember?
also,
Sorry. Well,
oh, yeah.
you remember when I was answering that question, and I said sometimes I would do, like, if I wake up in the morning and it's like sort of maybe later, I may drink a juice instead of doing the enema.
hmm
That's what I'm getting at. Like I'll drink the juice and have that bowel movement, even though it's not the same as the enema, but it's still lubricating the waste up in there to get out. And then
hmm
I'll have that movement for sure. So you make a
Nice.
good point. I was just just tying it in.
Yeah. Nice. And I gotta say, I'm realizing that I'm not eating just for like flavor and
Mm.
all these things. I'm eating more to have a bowel movement
Yeah,
because
yeah,
um, some people, I'm talking about the people in my life,
yeah.
have a hard time using the washroom,
Mm.
and they snack, and they eat, like they keep eating, but they don't poo.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like you're not eating to brush out, like you're eating just for flavor, you know?
Mm.
So it's definitely important to, let's say, have like two big meals instead of like six meals a day,
Uh-huh.
two
Yeah.
like small meals. hmm
Definitely. Yo, did you see Corey P? Corey P knows.
Corey D knows. No, I
Co-
don't think so.
Corey Corey P knows. How did you
Yeah.
get started eating more mucus less? Just
Oh,
the thought of eating salads every day throws me off, and I end up eating mucus. I would ask, like, how long have you been practicing? That would be
yes,
my yeah. That would be my question.
nice.
Shout out to Leafy Green Juice Bar, green apple cucumber
Hey,
juice.
hey. Yes, I love that juice. Yes.
But with
Um,
with Corey though, do you want to answer?
for me, I've been practicing it for 10 months, since September, of 2019. Um, and basically incorporating the system and not just eating mucus-less foods, you know what I mean? As in incorporating more greens. So
Okay.
instead of rice, a bed of rice with my beans, I'll have a bed of greens. That way it can help brush out, promote a bowel movement rather than have sticky rice.
Mhm.
hmm it's a system, so um, check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the system basically helps you transition into a mucusless meal. So if you are in a way eating more mucus forming foods, then you would incorporate, um, let's say, like I said, more greens in your life, to help
Mhm.
promote that bowel and have that mucus like brush out, you know?
Yeah. Mhm. Are
Um,
you doing enemas, Corey? So he
oh, thank
said
you.
off and on for like a year or so that he's been practicing.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yes, I do eat
Yeah.
very well at the leafy green juice bar. Check it out in Scarborough. hmm Yeah, I
Yeah.
also get my juice there too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but that's the place I go, and it's real close to me.
Mm.
hmm
So regarding
Uh, yeah.
Corey,
hmm
just yeah,
Yes,
like
and yeah.
incorporating. It's like if you get thrown off by eating the salads every day, if you're utilizing the system, as Sharma mentioned, are you incorporating cooked fruit meals
Mm,
where maybe
that's important.
and
That's
yeah,
vital.
yeah, the evening time if you have some cooked fruit meals like the baked banana with applesauce, some dates up in there if you're feeling that. Mm, and that's a meal, like that's solid. Incorporating with like if you are eating the mucus, pairing it with the salad, how you just said, Sharma, where instead of having a like the beans would be a mucus forming item, you
Mhm.
took a step from like the beans being a mucus forming item, the rice being a mucus forming item, and then transitioning away from the bed of sticky rice, but then a bed of greens. And then maybe over time, like you were consistently eating that, and then you decided, oh, all right, I'm gonna take this the mucus forming item, I'm gonna take the beans, and I'm gonna switch that with maybe less beans for
Mhm.
this meal, right? Like maybe that, and then maybe in that same instance, you're incorporating cooked veggies. So like steamed veggies are adding into that mix. Like you have this nice bed of, I don't know what you like, but like say if you were digging on some spinach or something, it's like a bed of spinach or a bed of lettuce with like some steamed broccoli. Let's just use that. Some steamed broccoli and then a little bit of the beans. Then the beans start to go out. Maybe they're replaced with some like butternut squash, or like some acorn squash or spaghetti squash, and then just from those steps, even the toast, like if you like, that's in the system. If you read the book and looked at the different meals, it's like just seeing how he incorporated the toast after the veggie meal, the veggie and the cooked veggie, and and just transition. So then maybe like just over time in your own body and your own feeling, you intuitively go, I don't feel like eating mucus today.
Yep.
I'm just gonna eat this salad with the steamed broccoli, some
Yeah.
tomatoes, and that's a meal. Yeah, like just I'm good.
For real. And for me, with salads, warm, like let's say baked zucchini, within my salad, definitely helps me. Like I want to feel that warmth, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
So that definitely helps.
Yeah.
So baked vegetables as well and baked fruits are definitely essential in this transition. And the mucusless diet healing system definitely, like, I don't know what's that word right now, but emphasizes on the transition. You can't go from one extreme to the next. That's how you fall off.
Yeah.
It's all about the transition.
Definitely.
Hey,
Yeah.
Q, if you wanna, do a little feature with with me. I was thinking of doing a song, calling Transition.
You're doing a song called Transition?
Yes. It's
Okay.
yes,
You
'cause it's all
what
about the transition.
yeah.
hmm
So yeah, let me hear what you got. Like, yeah.
Oh. um, that's all I got.
It's all
But yeah.
about the transition.
Mm.
I'm pulling out cucumbers. Take my knife, then I'm splitting that down the middle. Put it on a plate. Forget the gristle. I'm over here with the lemon squeeze. Little bit of peeling the zest so I can digest this with ease.
Mm. Yes.
Transition. Used to eat more beans with the rice. Now I got watermelons as I dice. In the sun
Yes.
bathing, feeling nice. Yeah.
Transition.
uh, uh.
Yes.
So I
Thanks,
got,
Q.
if you, yeah, of course. If you don't have a natural bowel release, should you not do an enema? It depends on, like, for me, not saying what you should do. I don't know what your transition is looking like. But if I don't have a natural bowel release, I would look into that. Like, what did I eat? Maybe
How much
if I,
water have I drank?
how much water? Yeah, exactly. How much water am I drinking? Did I exercise? Because exercising is another form of encouraging the circulation and elimination. So yeah, I would just check in on those different factors. If I was if I was able to tolerate fruit, then I might do like the dried fruit and juicy fruit combo. So like eating some raisins and then followed by some apples and seeing if that stimulated the digestion or like um but yeah, if you're going through like a bad stomach, it sounded like she was saying like that they were having more like that acid kind of thing, then yeah, it would be like I would probably check in on like the green juice vibe, just seeing if that works out, the water. And then if not, like if I feel, as mentioned, if I felt like it was obstruction, then I would try to handle that with the enemas and just and then work on getting my digestion right. Like I would just try to flush out the obstruction if I felt it was there and then keep it moving. Like utilizing the foods. Have you seen and then have you seen yourself moving parasites out Yeah, definitely. Not a lot. Well, actually, yeah, there was one point, like one stint of time that it was a gang of them that were like piecing out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. So how long have you been doing the mucusless diet healing system?
it's 3.5 years. Like transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. This
Yes.
homie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sharma mentioned mucusless diet healing system. It's Professor Arnold Ehret's mucusless diet healing system, and then I use the annotated version by Professor Spira.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then this guy Corey said he definitely went overboard with the raw fruits at first. Tried to cook fruit, but it was just so unappealing to me, especially in the hot summer. But I get that it's less aggressive. Exactly, yeah, it's less aggressive. Maybe, yo, you could even like, you don't have to eat it hot. Like you could make some cooked apples, like applesauce with the dates and cool off the apples. I'm not saying do that. I'm just giving you an idea. Like you don't have to eat it like baking hot in that way. Um yeah, it's an idea.
Hmm. Yeah, I gotta say that ripe fruits, like ripe banana, definitely helps with my bowel movements, and also dried fruits like dates.
Yeah.
And I do dried dates with nuts. That helps me brush out for sure.
Yeah.
um,
You were
yeah.
mentioning the dates and the pistachios.
Yeah, I actually tried the dates and peanut butter yesterday.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How
Yes.
how was that?
It was so good. I just kept dipping.
Yo.
Yeah. I should have just brought the whole peanut butter jar, but I know I needed some discipline, because I could
Yeah.
literally eat so much of it.
Oh, straight. Yeah, that's an improvisation right there. It's more like utilizing the concept of the dried fruit and nut combo and just incorporating the nut butter. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely different than the actual solid.
Yeah, it is different. But it definitely did its work, which was help promote a bowel movement.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's what's up then. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I see. Okay, so my problem is that I have a hard time eating salad without a fatty nut-based dressing like tahini or date-based dressings. When I try just olive oil and lemon juice, it doesn't satisfy me. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, like where's the do you use the cooked veggies? I'm curious, like yeah, where we were talking about the zucchini or the broccoli, spinach. I know some people they don't like Professor Spirit. He won't recommend avocados just because they are mucus forming,
Hmm.
just being a
It's
fatty
like
fruit.
butter.
Yeah, yeah. But for some people, it's like you'll look at like, okay, well, does that tahini eliminate well?
Mm.
Does it eliminate better than the avocado? Maybe, maybe not. Like that would be something that um, you would test on your body, like how just going through your transition. And yeah, because if all right, I just tried the olive oil. Even Professor Arnold Everett, he has a recipe where when he's talking about the dressings, the he mentions the olive oil
Oh,
and
wait,
lemon
I
juice.
have 26 seconds left.
Okay, okay. So yeah,
Okay, so we'll
yeah,
do this.
what's that?
We'll do this again. and,
Yeah.
and
But just
like 15
so yeah,
seconds.
he has like a peanut butter. He adds